as well. When I watched him way back in the day, he'll hear something or he'll get a quick snippet of a vision and then ask if anybody has any correlation with that person. So I get
See,
it
I
now.
don't work that way. I don't work that way because 25 people raise their hand. I also don't work with tell me who shows up because we'll do 20 minutes of me describing the person and you don't have a clue. Then it finally clicks. And it's not even for you, it's your next door neighbor's mother and it's a message for their daughter. So I don't work that way. You tell me who you want to talk to, that's who I bring through. That's how I work.
Yes. Well, Sherry Emily is in chat. Hello, everyone. Hello, Sherry. How are you tonight? Thanks for joining us. You know, and I want to talk about your books. You have quite a few books out there. What inspired you to write these books?
So I started writing my autobiography 30 or 40 years ago. And I would start to write it and it was too much for me and I'd stop. And then one of my kids was about 10 years old and found it on my computer and I did not want him reading it. So I deleted the whole thing. So I went back to starting to write my autobiography again about 4 or 5 years ago. And I was also taking care of my mom in the nursing home. She was dying. She was very sick. And I was teaching psychic development and mediumship. And I just kept hearing, you need to write the book. You need to write the book. And I'm like, I'm writing the book. They're like, no, you need to write another book. I'm like, what? They're like, well, you have to write a book about what you're teaching so your students have something in hand. I said, listen, if you want me to write this book, then you're going to have to channel it for me because I don't have the time or energy between everything else that I'm doing. So I literally channeled that book and I wrote it and I published it in 6 weeks, my first book. Oh, then I went back to finish writing my second book, which was my autobiography. And then I developed a 7-week program online called the Relationship Mastery Program because I was listening. They had me make videos. I made 10 videos of, you know, helping people in relationships, divorce, childbirth, all this stuff. I'm like, why? I don't know why, but I'm doing it. So I did it. I hired a whole camera crew and I made, you know, I wrote everything up and I made these 10 videos. I didn't know what to do with the darn things. So within a year, I'm helping. Everybody wants to know about relationships. They helped me put together from the other side a 7-week program. And it helps people reconcile their relationships, whether it's a marriage or family relationship. My success rate is incredible and it will change their life 100%. It raises your vibration. It helps you connect to the other side, helps you connect to your soul. And then when you're listening to your soul, when you make your decisions from your soul, it's the right decision 100% of the time. When you make it from your head's a computer, it's a crapshoot. You're always questioning yourself, but not when you're in touch with your soul. So then from there, I wrote my last book, The 5 Love Lessons, because from the hundreds of people that I've put through my mastery program, I realized everyone's learning the same things. And those are the 5 lessons that we are here for our soul to learn. And each lesson reinforces the last lesson, and it's a cycle. And you cannot advance your soul basically until you've learned those lessons. So we're here to learn them and teach them to each other.
Okay. Wow. And where could we find all of your books? They're on Amazon, right?
Yep, you can go to the number 5 Love Lessons, and that takes you to my website, or you can go to my website, juneedward.com. You can also sign up for a free webinar in regards to the mastery program and learn about the energy and how it teaches your energy.
Oh, wow. You know, I have a question for you. So we always hear this question between the difference of a twin flame and a soulmate. In your opinion, what is the difference?
So there are 3 different types of relationships. There's a twin flame, a soulmate, and a karmic relationship. Okay. A twin flame is extremely rare. There's all these people thinking that everybody has one. No, that is not the case. It is literally one soul that's split in 2 and reincarnated in 2 separate bodies. Those people are here to really save humanity and help humanity. They're here for a higher purpose. They will connect at some point in this lifetime. Their entire life will change after they've met. It's always a sexual, romantic relationship. And it's like a karmic and a soulmate on steroids. They last anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months, and that's it. And then when they split, it's like you've been ghosted. And it will change both of your lives and put you on the path that you're supposed to be on. And once you've both learned all of the lessons and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you'll have an opportunity at some time in this lifetime to get back together again. That's a twin flame. I wouldn't say everybody would want one. It's not an easy relationship. It's extremely difficult, and it's very, very hard until you get back together for the second time. So a soulmate relationship is a very comfortable relationship. It's like an old pair of shoes. You feel like you've known each other for a long time. It kind of goes along really smoothly. They're meant to teach you some of your lessons, but they're also meant to give you some love and comfort along the way. And any relationship can last a short time or a long time. It really depends on what you set up for your plan. Not all relationships are meant to last a lifetime. And then there's the karmic relationship. And a karmic relationship is strictly, karma is what someone owes you or you owe them from a previous lifetime. So they are strictly here to teach you your most difficult lesson in this lifetime. It never really feels comfortable. It always feels like you're looking over your shoulder, or you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or it's just something's wrong. And as soon as one or the other learns the lesson that they were supposed to be learning, it ends. It's like you wake up one morning and say, why am I even here? If you both have learned your lessons, it will end amicably. If only one of you has learned your lesson, it will end, but not amicably. Those are the 3 types of lessons.
What do you say about that, Phil? Very quiet over there.
Oh, it's interesting. Very interesting. My next question would be, do you believe that there's a creator, as we call God?
Absolutely. So, again, source energy. You call them whatever you want to call them. There is only one. How did he create us? I consider it a God spark, because without that, you don't have that soul. That's what the soul is. You can create a robot and it's not going to be a human being because it doesn't have that God spark for your soul. That gives you the soul.
Well, I wouldn't count. Well, I wouldn't count on that because where they're going with these AI bots right now is scary.
Yeah,
That is scary.
They don't have a
I
soul.
don't even know who I'm talking to half the time. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Now, what about aliens, and what's your thought on the aliens and the UFOs that we're encountering?
So, unfortunately, most people, TV is called programming, right? There's programs on TV, and they called it program for a reason. They feed you information, and we get brainwashed by what they're telling us and showing us. Look up in the sky, and that's only a minuscule amount of what's actually up there that you see. And to say that this is the only planet that can have life on it, well, this might be the only planet that we can live on, but who's to determine what life actually is and what some other living entity might need for oxygen or to breathe or live underwater or whatever else, right? I have seen aliens. I have talked to aliens. I can pick up on ones that are in human bodies. The person that lets me into the Akashic record room is a Palladian. That's an alien. Had no idea who he was or what he was, and until I started to talk to other people and research it, and lo and behold, I find out he's a Palladian. I've talked to people that have been abducted multiple times, and I've actually gone back and talked to the Palladian that lets me into the record room to ask why these people are getting constantly abducted. Yeah, they're real. We've just been very sheltered, and oh, you're crazy if you think they exist.
No, they definitely exist.
So why are people getting abducted?
Well, the woman that I had done a reading for was getting abducted because she had been given a new modality, a new energy healing modality. And she was supposed to be putting it into a written form so that multiple people would be able to learn it. And she wasn't doing that. She was teaching small groups. But the human brain also doesn't remember everything verbatim and forgets a lot. So they kept on picking her up and reprogramming her with the information, basically. I explained to her until she actually gets it down in a format that's solid that other people can take and learn from, they're going to keep doing it. But everybody's different for what the reason is.
So
If you don't mind me, wait, Jill, I have one more question. Jill, I have one more question, and you take the rest of the show. My question is this. I'm going to play hardball, okay? Because when this show's over, I'm going to get about 1,000 messages. Where do you get your information from? You
From the
know,
other
you
side.
said 5 minutes ago how programming, right? Everything is programming, television's programming, books are programming. It is all programming. So where are you getting your information on everything you've said tonight?
I get my information from the other side, from my guides that I talk with. They're mostly guides. So I do have angels come through, but angels don't really talk to me about anything. It's guides. Now, guides were human at one point in time, and they are on the other side. I don't always know who they are, but they're the ones that are giving me the information. And I also have what's called a gatekeeper. He's the one that lines everybody up for me. Say I'm at a show and I'm going over to certain people and I'm bringing people through for them. He lines everyone up. And the one that stops people from coming through to me if I'm not working, so that they're not coming through and driving me crazy. My information all comes from the other side. I can't tell you the amount of time I've spent in meditation on the other side and literally going to the lowest level of heaven, which is that 5D. So we're in 3D. When you go to sleep at night, your vibration actually rises, and that dream state is 4D, and the lowest level of heaven is 5D. So at night when you're sleeping, the difference between a dream and a visit is they lower their vibration to meet you. Your vibration is rising. It feels real, and you wake up immediately and you remember it. So that's how you know it's a visit and it is not a dream. Okay. So when I'm meditating, I'm taking my soul up to that 5D level again, and meeting and listening and getting whatever information. And I ask questions, and I don't always get the answer immediately, but I'll get my answers within usually that day.
Thank you. Okay, Julie, take it over.
Oh, I was just going to ask her if she thought that you were an alien, that's all.
I must be multidimensional because my brain is definitely out there. She's looking at me. Now she's staring at me like she's scaring me. Like, am I an alien? Now I got to look around at myself. Anybody got a mirror?
And the funny thing is, I don't get all the answers. I've asked questions. When I was writing my first book, everybody kept asking me if we can reincarnate as animals and trees. I went and asked on the other side. I did not get the answer. So then I went back into my own Akashic records to see where my dog had been in a previous life, because I was so attached to this dog. And sure enough, he had been a man in a previous life, that my middle son was my dad, and he and I rescued this man, and he came back in this lifetime, and he was with my son for 4 years, and he was with me for 4 years. And sometimes he comes through as the man, and sometimes he comes through as my dog. But I found that it's the souls that are they're not real advanced souls that usually want to come back as animals. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I always wondered about that, if a loved one that passes could come back as your animal.
Absolutely.
It does make sense.
And they're there on the other side. I bring people through sometimes, and I'll have like a trail of 4 and 5 animals behind them, and I'll describe all the animals, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that one, yeah."
It's true. That is very, very true.
Yeah.
We have a question. So you're saying aliens are of spirit, like humans, living thing? I can't say. I'm sorry.
Well, she said alien can go in somebody, has been in somebody. And that's a good question, because how an alien is a being, they have some kind of leathery skin. So how do they actually enter a person?
They have a soul the same way that we do.
A soul.
They have a soul the same way that we do. Yeah. It's their soul that's coming into your body when they're taking you over that way.
Interesting.
Now,
Wow.
do they have an alternate heaven? I don't know. Have I ever seen any of them in heaven? Only the Palladian. He's the only alien that I've seen in heaven. Haven't looked for them, to be honest with you. So I couldn't tell you any more than that.
Okay, so she's
And
saying, so are you saying aliens are the spirit like humans or any other living thing, and you can see them? Where are they from? Where are they
So the ones that I have seen, other than the Palladian that's in the Akashic Record Room, the only other ones that I've seen here on Earth are the ones that look like they've taken over a human body, and they communicate with mental telepathy.
Okay.
Well, it's funny because I watch the news every day. My government's been taken over, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know what they are anymore. There's an episode of The Simpsons or something, isn't there, where they pull all the masks off? We're waiting for that. They've been pretty accurate so far, from what I hear.
Those are the brightest aliens, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
this is really cool stuff. Really cool.
Yes. And I have one more question. What do you think about the lady that was on the airplane, and the experience that she had?
I have no idea. I haven't really, I saw a little clip on it. I have no idea if she picked up on somebody who was a robot or an alien, or she's mentally ill. I have no idea. I'm not going to judge her or make an opinion.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
No
asked that
idea.
because it's confusing. It is a confusing thing. Was she mentally ill, or I believe she saw something. But
could I mean, the people talk about lizard people. They are absolutely real. And wait until you encounter someone who actually blinks his eyes in. That's a freaky thing.
it is.
Run.
No, it is.
Yeah, it's really scary. I thought I was seeing things. I'm sitting there and talking to, with like 3 or 4 people around me, and I'm listening to this person who's probably about 4 feet from me, and all of a sudden the eyes didn't blink this way, the eyes blinked this way, and I'm standing there and I'm like, did I just see what I thought I just saw? Am I seeing things? I couldn't even talk. I was like stupefied. And I'm like,
So
I gotta go.
You've seen that in person?
I saw it in person. Yeah. And it was actually at a political event years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the Illuminati and the Freemason and the people who control the world. There's that big question mark: who is controlling everything? Are these the people that control everything, and we just don't know it?
So what you have to remember is, just like with money and balance in our 3D life, money is the vehicle used to show whether or not your life is in balance or not. So politics is the vehicle that they're using now for good and evil, because that's what's happening right now on a larger scale. It's good and evil, and it's just being played out around the world through the politics so people can see it. That's what's happening.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Remember, good always wins.
That's
good
true.
always wins. God always wins. Good always wins. Yeah.
So
you have to.
So I guess one of the last questions I would have, and then Julie, you could take it off from that point, but and there's a very good possibility, and I don't want to be negative, but if there was a nuclear war, because that's where we're headed, and nothing was left of mankind, even if the earth still would be here, I don't even know, then what happens to everyone, all the souls? Do they go to that higher dimension?
Absolutely. You're going to go up or down, right? And again, the only ones that are going to go down are the ones that actually killed everybody and didn't have any remorse for it. They're going to go to hell. Let me tell you, it's not a bad spot to be up in heaven. I look forward to going back. I have no fear at all. I definitely look forward to it. And the people that are getting out early, sometimes I'm a little envious. It's amazing on the other side. It truly is. Truly is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Phil, he's had an experience too. So
yeah, that's why I'm listening and I'm digesting what she's saying. And of course, we're out of the show, but very interesting to say the least. And where can people find you and all that good stuff?
Right on my website, juneedwood.com. I have a blog on there too. I've written I haven't written anything in the blog for a while, but there's stories in my books as well of some of the readings and the real life things that have happened. And yeah, there's a lot of webinars and a lot of interviews and things on my website. A lot of interesting stuff on there.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. We really appreciate it. It's been a great
Thank
show,
you.
and unfortunately, it flew by like they all do. So
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you. And a special thank you to Carnation for fully sponsoring the show. We love them. They've been doing it from the very beginning. And please join us next week on the United Public Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. And don't forget, we are live on ROKU right now. So thank you, June, for coming on tonight. And everybody have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.